Hello everyone, welcome to the Arts and Crafts Show. My name is Alex, and today I would like to discuss camping at the art shows. A lot of the beginners, even part-timers, do not realize that many shows are set up so that you can camp at the show. Let me start at the beginning. Most shows are a Saturday and Sunday show. You go to the show on Saturday, usually get there early in the morning, maybe 6 o'clock, you're setting up, and 9 o'clock the customers start to come into the show. Even though the show starts at 10, you got the early birds, okay? They're looking for the best deals. They're also looking for the best work. They know if they come early, they're going to get first choice. You work all day long, you've had a long, hard day. The show ends at 5 or 6 o'clock. Time for you to pack up your booth, button it down, zip it up. And even though the show closes at 6, you're not going to get out of there till about 6:30, maybe 7. Then you have several options, one of which you can drive home if you're not that far away. I know some people who are about 100 miles away, they will still drive that couple of hours to go home. Then there are the folks who will stay at their friends and family homes that are not far from the art show. It's a good way to, do a show and see their family. Then there are people who will take a hotel room. And I suggest that if you're going to go with a hotel, that as soon as you know you're getting into the show, first thing you should do is find a hotel. That's when you're going to get the best price and the best location, because not only are you competing against other artists for hotel rooms, but you're also competing against your customers, because many of them do spend the entire weekend at the show. It's an event for them as well. So, in fact, I do one show that you need to apply and book your hotel room 1 year in advance, and because customers also book 1 year in advance. And so the closer the hotel is to your art show, the more the price is going to be. And I'm figuring you're looking at 100 and above to get a hotel room on that weekend. The hotels know that they can charge a higher price because of the art show. So if you're going to travel a little bit further outside of town, where the hotels are a little bit less expensive, you're looking maybe about $100 or $75. But still, again, you're going to have to drive the 30-40 minutes to get there. That's gasoline. And then you've got to get there early in the morning. You got to drive back, because in the morning the show will start at 10. And a lot of the artists will come in at 8 o'clock, and they'll drift in up until about 9 o'clock, set up their booth and open it up. So the other option that you have is that you're able to camp at the shows. And this is one of my favorite things that I like to do. And the shows will set up certain parking areas just for artists. Artists that stay with friends and family, or the hotel rooms, or they drive back home, they'll be able to park there during the day, because they would like the parking for artists to be in one special area. It's protected. There's some security there. It's away from the show a little bit, and that opens up the parking around the show to the customers. And at night, it's also open to artists who would like to stay there all night long. And it varies. I mean, some people sleep in their car. The passenger side, they fold down pretty much like a bed. They put a sleeping bag on top, and that's pretty much the minimum camping style that they have. They've got a porta potty that they supply the artists and craftspeople at the show, so that's taken care of. For a hot shower, well, some people will go to the YMCA. They'll go to a truck stop not far down the road. Sponge bath, if that's all that's available to them, that's all they really are interested in doing. Maybe a little bit extra perfume, I suppose. And then they're good to go. In my case, I've got, in my van, I completely unload the van at the show and set it up. And my van is virtually empty except for a place where I can put my pad and my sleeping bag, and I've got a hot water, box to keep hot water that I use for a shower that I set up in the back of the van, and I've also got a cooler for foods and drinks and sodas and sandwiches, what I usually make at the shows. When in the hot box, sometimes I'll have a lasagna or spaghetti that I make at home, and I bring that with me, and that's my food also as well. Once in a while I do go out and I go out and get a hamburger. I really feel like something different at the end of the show. I don't really often eat at the shows anymore because, first of all, I find them very expensive. $8 for a euro, or and the food looks good, but I really just, it's a little on the fatty side for me, and it's not my taste. A lot of deep fried foods, but they are tasty, no doubt about it. But that's for another subject, food at the show. But I would like to say that also that people don't always stay in their van or their car. They will stay inside their booth if it's, the show gives permission to do something like that. Even they bring a tent and put it behind their booth, and they sleep in that as well. So camping at the show is really good. You save on traveling time, you save on money, and in my case, I do some shows that are 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so I always get to the shows a day earlier. So I would get to the show on Thursday. So that's Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. I'm figuring I'm saving $300, gas, time. I'm ready to, and I enjoy the shows. That's just sort of like my home away from home anyway. I really get a good night's sleep. And of course I bring my my laptop. Some shows have Wi-Fi at the show. And if not, you can always hook up your smartphone. You can watch YouTube, such as this channel here, or anything else that you're enjoying. And there's plenty to do now on the internet. So that's my recommendation. If you get a chance, go ahead and camp at the shows. You'll notice that some of the shows, there is some really big rigs out there the size of those Greyhound buses. They even haul behind them their workshop in a trailer, a long trailer. And they'll travel for 2 months, and they go around the country and they do a regular circuit, and then they go home. So for them, it's sort of a vacation and business type of deal. And they do stay at the shows. They even stay overnight on Sunday night sometimes. That can be permissible at times. Now, if the show does not have a specific camping area for artists, the shows will work with the local community, schools and churches, and you can set up your camper there at the school and the church. It's a little bit further away, maybe a half a mile from the show, but they do shuttle you back and forth every 10 or 15 minutes to the show, and you park over there or camp at the school or the churches. I know a lot of artists like to have their van or their car near the show because that is where they keep their extra supplies. So if they seem to run low in one particular area, they can run over to the van real quickly, get whatever they need, and bring it back, because shows are somewhat limited in space. So I would recommend somehow to adjust for that kind of setup in your booth. You could set up a table in your booth that's a little bit higher up on level. You can put more things underneath it, for example, or arrange your booth differently. Anyway, that's a savings if that interests you. And I usually, there's only one show where I drive home. I'm only about 20 minutes from the show, and I do that. But even still, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, getting in the van and driving 25 minutes for me seems tedious. When I can just wake up, I open the door, and I'm at the show. And a lot of shows in the morning, they will offer you free coffee and donuts. That's usually complimentary, and that's a nice little touch. If a show doesn't do that, a lot of food vendors will have coffee in their booths early in the morning, and you can buy a cup of coffee. Not very expensive, $1 actually, and that's not too bad for early in the morning. If you want something for a breakfast, they've got fast foods around town. You can just drive somewhere around town really quickly and pick up a fast food. Coffee and donuts is enough for me, actually, and I've had a habit for that for years, 30, 40 years. Just a light breakfast, and then I have a brunch or afternoon lunch. Because when I do my artwork, I like to work early in the morning, and I like to concentrate on. That's my best time to work. And after I put in about 6 or 7 hours of work, I'm looking at about 12 o'clock, and that's when I have my first really meal. In the morning, it's coffee. So that's my suggestion. And if you like what we're talking about here and you want to hear more different subjects, please leave me comments below. I can answer your questions, and share this with other people, and subscribe and ring that bell, and we'll see you at the next video. Thank you very much. Bye.